Conversations that matter, voices that travel the world, from every city, every party, different stories, one spotlight, real people, real inside, bringing minds together today. We rise, we speak, we grow, more than a moment, more than a show. Across the world, the voices flow. Welcome to a podcast. Conversations without borders. Welcome to a podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome to Way Podcast, a conversation that cuts across all life experiences, and I hope you enjoy our topics for today. I'm not here alone. Joining me here is
The man with the name so sweet you have to call it twice. The name is Famous. Welcome to this week's episode.
and right next to him is,
I'm Sonex. Hope you guys are good. Nice to be back again on this week.
and of course our wonderful guest, Mr. Henry Chigozie. Mr. Henry Chigozie is going to be talking to us about myths about cybersecurity that people don't believe in. So I'm going to throw the question to you. What really are these myths that people don't believe in cybersecurity? Because we've heard so much about protecting your devices, protecting your sites, and all that. Tell us more before we dive into the main questions.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on set. All right, when you talk about cybersecurity myths, there are several of them that exist. And a very popular one is a lot of people think cybersecurity is for the tech experts, for the selected few, those with the technical knowledge and maybe that knows how to code, how to write softwares and algorithm and the rest. But that's not true.
Okay.
Cybersecurity is actually for everyone. And when you look at that, you're going to be looking at it in two perspectives. One is in the area of application, and then the other one is in the area of profession. Now, in the area of application, as long as you have some sort of digital footprint online, cybersecurity is for you. Whether you use a phone, maybe a laptop, you will have an online account, it's for you. And when you also look at it in terms of profession, it's not just for very technical people. Now, when you look at cybersecurity, there are, I think, about 8 or 9 domains in cybersecurity that exist. A lot of people, especially here in Africa, when you hear cybersecurity, the first thing that comes to mind is hacking. You're thinking of someone that wants to hack into your account. But that's just what most people know. There are other domains. For example, we have the network security, we have the endpoint security, we have the application security, we have the access management, identity and access management. You also have a very popular one. I think it's becoming popular these days, which is GRC, Governance, Risk and Compliance. Now, I think in the last 3 months, 3 years rather, or 5 years, it started gaining traction. A lot of people are now delving into that because it's a bit less technical. Now we see a lot of, especially ladies, female going into that sector, into that domain, because it's not as technical as a lot of people think. Though it requires you understanding how this technical stuff works. You need to have an understanding of how router works, how firewall works, how they are configured, but you're not necessarily handling it, right? So when you're looking at the GRC, it stands for Governance, Risk and Compliance. There you'll be dealing with policy setting, you'll be dealing with risk management, mitigation, tolerance, how to manage risk. You also be dealing with compliance, how to make sure that as an organization you're compliant to rules and regulations. Let's say here in Nigeria, you'll be looking at how you're compliant, how you stay compliant with CBN rules and directive. So that's just one of the myths that exists, where a lot of people think is just from experts, tech experts. So another one that I think is very common now is where a lot of people think that nobody knows me,
Okay.
and then I'm not
A known person.
a known
Celebrity.
person that should be attacked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? They just feel that I just do my thing.
Who knows me?
Who knows me?
Mhm.
Very important, but I think is an assumption most people have, because when you look at how attacks are engineered, you will see that some attacks can take months, years to plan out. Now, there's what we call threat intelligence, where you're gathering your information. For example, is a way of gathering information, analyzing information, how attacks are simulated in order to prevent them. So some of these attackers, what they do is that maybe they can study you and see the pattern you're going. You finish school, you got a job, you're working in
So
an
it
oil
can
company.
become from
So
the
it can become
unknown.
progressive, exactly, unknown to the known.
Okay.
So when you're thinking, okay, nobody knows me, you don't know there's somebody out there
Monitoring.
getting information about you.
Mhm.
And it's just a matter of time, those attacks are launched. Another popular myth that people hold is that some say, okay, cybersecurity is for big companies. So I'm a small business owner. I don't need to protect my information. And they think, okay, for banks, organizations, these are the ones that probably need cybersecurity. But that's not true. When you look at that, you see that, like I said, as long as you have digital footprints, you interact online, cybersecurity is for you.
Okay.
There are a lot of them that exist out there, but these are just top ones that comes to mind at this point. Thank you.
Okay, in other words, we have the general way that any common person can actually protect his or her own
Yes.
cyber. In what way? Because most of the people, like me now, what I can think of is generating a password for a particular platform of mine. So is that the only way we can, as individual?
Okay. When it comes to data protection, the first thing is to become cyber aware. That cyber awareness needs to be there.
Okay.
And one of the first things I tell people is how you manage your information online.
Okay.
It's very important. Most of the mistake is oversharing of data, information. And I think recently people are becoming very careful when they need to give out their information, because you don't know how far the information can travel if it can get into a wrong hand. Learning to manage your data is very important. The information you put out there online is very important. And I think for me, that will be like the basis. You begin with that. And then secondly, for many platforms where you have an account, there are also measures you can take to protect yourself. For example, using a strong password,
Okay.
right, when you're creating an account. But then strong password is not enough. And I think that's also another myth that people take as belief. They think because I have a strong password, then they combine their grandfather's name plus this and that, and then they create almost 30 long and alphanumeric plus special characters, and they and protect. But it's not enough, because when you have a strong password, you can still be a victim. For example, if you click on the wrong link, right, your account can be compromised. So that's why I say you have to be, that awareness has to be there. You have to be security aware, conscious, very important. So because one of the way they attack is all this phishing scam, where they send a wrong email to you, an email containing some malicious code, and then when you don't know, though you have a strong password, right? If you click on it, they will gain access into your account. There are different ways they can get access into your account. Maybe from, okay, I'll give an example. You work in an organization, you have this level of privileges. And maybe the attack that they want to carry out may require someone that have, let's say, an admin privilege. So what they need to do, maybe they target someone that doesn't have that. There's what we call escalation privilege, like a lateral movement. So once they get access into your account is compromised. Before you know it, they begin to climb their way up in a simple way, and then they have access, maybe the organization database. So you see, a simple carelessness from one person can cause the organization. Though that individual may have a strong password, but he's not careful. He clicks on any link, he downloads anything he sees online, He visits any website, and that's another way you can protect yourself. When you want to check a website, first of all, you check if it's protected.
Okay.
There's a popular one we call it, they say is check if it has a padlock sign. Just like
Okay.
HTTPS, right? Is it protected? At least that gives you some kind of reassurance that you're on the right website. But even at that, for me, I like to look at the domain name. There's where you see some funny domain name, alphanumeric kind of something like that. I'm very careful. Sometimes I may want to Google it and see if there exists, especially if they are making an offer, offering something to you, services, and they want you to take action. And one of the things, these are how those phishing stuff work. One of the things you also notice that in those kind of email, it's quite time sensitive. They are pressurizing you.
Yeah.
They want to take action. So when I see the email, for example, and I want to click, I read the content of the message, and I want to give it a second thought. You know, cybersecurity, one way you can protect yourself is always learning to give something a second thought, benefit of doubt. You're not in a rush to click on anything, to jump into any offer. So there are a lot of ways you can protect yourself, from having a strong password and being very careful before clicking any link. You have to verify. In cybersecurity, you have to verify first before you take any action. There are also other ways, like, for example, maybe sometimes people say, okay, I use a strong antivirus, but it's not enough. It will not save you when you click on the wrong link. And sometimes you might say, okay, I use VPN. These are also important way, but what VPN does is terms of privacy protection, right? It protects you online in terms of maybe your location and all of that, but it doesn't stop you from getting attacked, right?
Okay.
If you click on the wrong link.
link.
So there are many ways you can protect yourself, but being careful, that's awareness. It begins first
That's number
to
one.
know what you need to do, to know that there's a threat out there. You always need to think like there's a bad guy after me. And then I need to
especially in
protect
this
myself.
world these days where people are eager to get a job, get money, and they quickly see a link that says, okay, I'm offering you this for doing this and all that. You want to click. People are so what we have to do is to have this self-awareness that
Exactly.
this clicking on this link might cause us. Okay. I don't know if you have something to
I have
chip in on
I have a million
that.
things to ask you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Russians, you people say it's cybersecurity experts like you. They say trust but verify.
Very
And
true.
I've also been told things like zero trust policies, where you know, we were talking before we came online how viruses transfer from flash drives or all the standard drives. I think my question to you would be, I'm a rookie. I just bought a computer. I'm using one. So I don't know all these jargons. I don't know, you know, talk about awareness. Where do I start from? I think you said some of them, but so I just got my first computer. Maybe I'm fresh in school. It's my 100 level. It's my first computer. I want to study whatever. So you talk about digital footprints. Now I just signed on to TikTok. I'm 13 or 15. It's my first phone. And I want to ensure in the long term, I don't become an easy target. Right. So what should I do right?
Okay, I think for someone like that, I'll say start with data protection.
Okay.
Learn how to manage your data.
Okay.
It is not every form out there that you put in your data. There's some that will ask you your name, they are collecting more than is necessary.
Okay.
They also collect your location where you live, and you're entering those informations.
Okay.
So learn to manage your data. Not everything is just submit all your information.
Okay.
And just like you also mentioned, the need to verify. You also need to have this inquisitive mindset.
Okay.
You know, learn to ask. You have to be curious. You have to learn to probe certain things.
Sorry, sir, for breaking to you. We're in the age of AI, right? I want to do everything as Charlie free.
Yeah.
And I think many of the AI companies, what they tell me is just start free. Just give us your emails, your phone number. There's I think they call it single sign on. I'll just click my Google. You said, look, these people want to use your data. I said, don't worry, just allow them
Single
use. Let
sign-on.
them use. Yes, sir. So, and somebody said, this AI is very expensive to build. They are giving it to me for free. Should I be worried or should I be concerned when I see things like that?
Okay. I was going to get into that, but I'm glad that you're asking the question now. I think it was last year I was doing a research, and I find out that from IBM reports, 80% of the AIs that you have right now are shadows AI.
Oh,
So that means that just 20 of them
and the
are
real
genuine.
deal.
Even the 20, 80 out of the 20
Again.
also need to be verified.
Okay.
So there are a lot of AI tools out there, and I think that's an area that is a big issue right now in terms of cybersecurity or information security, the AI. Now, a lot of people, there's a lot of information being exposed. Sometimes when people, maybe they are trying to prompt AI, they feed in a lot of
Tell
information.
everything.
You're putting your house address, you're putting in your
Job
very
title,
sensitive
the company I
information.
work for.
The company you work for. Sometimes even an organization, maybe they're trying to build out a product.
Okay.
These are still new ideas.
Yes.
And you're a product manager.
Do you know, I
new.
think of that each
Yeah.
time I try to, front up something that has to do with my organization or
Mhm.
company or a contract.
Mhm.
I need this thing, but okay, should I put all this information into this? How secured are these
Is it? Yeah.
information?
That's
So
where
these are-
information
yes.
management comes in. So
Okay.
there are information that you cannot put into those AI,
Okay.
right? Because this AI, most of the things you have to know that, okay, just like a website, most website has an admin end
Yeah.
where you can see some information. Some of them have a back door
Yeah.
where they can see this information.
Yeah.
And then they can maybe use it and send information to a competitor that can work against your company,
Yeah.
right? So information management is very key when it comes to the use of AI. So that's why even the world is actually now making AI governance a big discussion these days. Like in Nigeria, one of the reasons why it hasn't gained that kind of traction is because for when it comes to governance policy, they're usually enforced when CBN step into those issues, right? For example, now when it comes to there's what we call ISMS, Information System Management System, where where a bank is mandated to be ISO compliant in terms of 27001 information security, business continuity, that is ISO 22301, and IT service management ISO 20000, and maybe a project management methodology. Recently, I think about 2-3 years ago, CBN mandated it. And now some of the banks, especially if you're at state level, they are now being compliant. But before then, they are not. And that's one of the big issues that we face. But recently now, there's even now a standard called AI governance that actually governs the responsible use of AI in organization. So it's expected that organization begin to adopt this. So what that means is that it begins with the awareness. You need to sensitize your staff. They need to be aware about the danger of AI, the implication, how to manage information, what to put into those AI. So when you begin that, I think to a large extent, you can help manage the risk.
Okay.
It is not 100%, right? But at least a layman can have some sort of understanding on the danger of AI and how to protect not just himself, but the organizations. So for the person just starting, learning to manage information, reading up things is very important. Manage your data very well and verify. That's one thing I would say.
Verify.
And also, you can also leverage other tools. But when you're also thinking of leveraging to, for example, maybe you install antivirus. You know about antivirus. It stops virus, stop a system from getting attacked. But it's not enough.
Of course.
So even if that is there, we know there's some, viruses are being re-engineered every day.
Yeah.
It's like a mutation. They are changing it. And one of the things I would just say, maybe, I don't know if I will say it here, one of the things you also need to know is that sometimes, it sounds funny, but you should be surprised that even some of the companies that are producing this antivirus are the one manufacturing the virus.
Yeah.
Produce the virus. So
Yeah.
it's a business if you also look at it.
It is.
So you also need to know your choice of tools, the one you use. But most importantly, is learning to be careful. Let me say, being careful on how you interact when it comes to link form, data submissions, In short, your interaction online.
Okay, sir. Sorry for breaking you. My question. Let's assume I practice all this you've taught me.
Okay.
Right? I manage my data. I do well. But it turns out I live in Nigeria. I had a small challenge. So I ran to ABC online loan company to take money from them. They didn't tell me anything. I filled in my data. I gave, because it's a financial institution, I gave my BVN, my NIN,
and all of that.
And then they said it was fast. So, and I needed money fast. So they gave me loan, maybe 20,000. 3 months after, they are sending my picture to my pastor and all of our church members or family members saying I'm only dead. I'm dead. So that's not a myth for me. That's the reality I face as a Nigerian.
Yes, that's
you as a professional, who did wrong? Is it my fault or who's at fault?
Okay, there's a way I will answer this question. Sometimes these are the cost of or the price you pay for ignorance.
Okay.
And why I say that, because some of these online loan companies are not regulated by CBN.
I don't know that. I just need money.
Yeah, so that's why I started by saying these are sometimes sacrifice
You pay for
not knowing it, right?
Okay.
They are not regulated, and so they can act very funny. They can go to extreme to
recover their money.
Even if it means
Tarnishing your
image, they will do all sort of things, right? So in situations like that, let's assume it has happened, right? It has happened. The first thing I would just say, try your best to pay.
Okay.
To begin, right?
But now if I pay, sorry sir, yes, of course, it has effect. If I pay, would they go back and tell all these people that I'm not dead?
The truth is that they will hardly do that. They will hardly do that.
So my best,
and that's why I say
my best bet is to not fall for them.
Verify. One of the things, maybe I will say something. For example, I believe some of these online loans, they are on Play Store. I believe.
Yeah.
And I also believe that some of them have reviews. Reviews.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're not sure. That's why I say, for me, I like to verify things a lot. Right? When it comes to anything that has to do with money, financial transaction, I will need to ask. I will dig, ask all the questions. Ask, get a second, just a minute. Have a second opinion before taking action.
In this case, 20th opinion.
So let's say for me, what I will probably do, for example, to just avoid that, in case you're not sure if they are regulated or not, go to their platform, go on Play Store, for example, check all the comments, check all the reviews. By the time you're seeing those kind of funny comments, you're sending my picture to this and this, it just tells you that you just advise yourself not to go in that direction.
In some cases where you're in a fixed situation, you have a pressing need.
Ask your friend to borrow you.
But if you don't have a friend, can borrow you such money.
You need to weigh the options. You need to one thing I believe about life is about decisions.
Yeah.
For every decision, they say for every action is a reaction.
Yeah.
Right. So you need to weigh that. So if you want to go in that direction,
if you must take that loan,
if you have to, because again, you know the consequences, right? Of the 40, right? Then you have to do your best
to pay off on time.
So since you are talking to us about cybersecurity, for me, verify, you've said a million times. I could go check, is this real? My mom, my grandma, they are illiterates. They can't read. Okay. Right? But they managed to read. So we got them WhatsApp. Right, so we can reach them, people can call, everyone can talk. My father, an ordinary man, then he gets a code that says, "Oh, your WhatsApp has a problem right now. I want to help you fix it." It doesn't just only happen to my father, who's not educated, or my mother, who is a market woman. It happens to even the best of us who are graduates.
I've been a victim,
right?
I've been a victim.
So, what should we know and do better when this kind of bad actors come again next time?
Okay, it's what I said when she asked the first question about that awareness.
Okay.
It begins by educating them. Yeah. Right? Educating them. Okay. There was a time that I think it was my father-in-law that got such call. Okay. But for some reason, she decided to call my wife that somebody is calling him to release. Okay, let me even say what happened. I think they were asking for his BVN.
Okay.
He called the BVN, and I think it was remaining 2 digits. And for some reason, he didn't remember. And then going to look for it, he couldn't find it. And then he decided to call my wife to
And
ask, Vivian, somebody call me that there's one money, maybe he's expecting money. This I need to release the money.
Yes.
Immediately, we connected the dot. He said, don't. Those guys are scammers. So these are phishing attacks. Then you see, and they were pressurizing him. Immediately, do this. If not, your account will be locked. No. So what I tell people, any message that seems to
be too good to be true,
lots of time sensitive pressure, don't buy into it.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, you will see that it's also very important that you also educate everyone to learn how to read. Most people don't read.
Yeah.
And that's something I can tell you. For example, most of us will buy devices.
We don't read the manual.
We don't even go through the manual.
Right.
We just fed that.
Open the box and go on.
Yes, I know how to use it.
I can
Then
it.
you started using
Connect
it, right? When you check some of those emails from the bank, they will put it there. We will never ask you to give out this, and this. That way they've exonerated themselves. It's a disclaimer. So if you don't read and you fall victim, there is not the bank issue. So it still comes back to awareness.
Is this a question of mine? Is this a myth or a truth that the internet never forgets? So I'm saying this. I'm saying this because let's say I have I don't have daughters, so I have a younger sister, or I have a friend who's a teenager. She sees the trend happening on social media. Everybody is doing all the things they do.
She jumps into it
everywhere, TikTok and all that. So, cybersecurity specialists like you, if she misses her way and does some things, is there a way she can retrace her step online such that maybe there was a trend where celebrities were having their private pictures,
public them online videos,
and somebody once said that she, forgive me to say the character, the gender said she had paid to scrub off the internet, that you can no longer find her private video on the internet. Is that true or false?
The truth is that people have those stuff. That's not true.
So the internet does not forgive for you?
The internet does not forgive or does not even forget.
Okay.
You delete the one that has been downloaded into people's personal device?
I thought you being a cybersecurity, I can pay hackers to go into your device and delete it for me.
How many hackers will you pay to go into all the devices in this world?
Okay. So it's
it's only, I know there's some devices that are not connected online.
Okay.
So if I need to gain access into a device, there has to be some kind of proxy, some kind of connectivity, right?
Yes, sir.
So if it's not connected online, how do I gain access? Okay, your hard drive, your code hard drive somewhere. It's not probably when it gets online, maybe that you have access to it. So that's naturally not true. A lot of people still have those pictures. That's why I started by saying you have to be careful the information you put out there.
Because it doesn't
even post. Okay, I think I heard of someone that had made a very funny comment about a particular company and later on went to apply there. They didn't know that they had that information. During the interview, they just did a playback of the things that he said and all of that. And he was very shocked.
Yeah.
And that's how he lost the job.
Wow.
So how did they know that it's the same person who said something about the company that they were employing? Is it by picture or just by the comments?
It's very simple.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. Like in my company, I'm a C-level executive. And I think more thing than that, I get to interview people. Sometime you see their LinkedIn profile, they link the URL there.
Okay.
Most CV now, people need to add it. But one of the things sometimes we do is that if you say you've been a professional for a certain number of years, then one way or the other, you would have said something about your work online.
Yeah.
You'd have made a post, you have made some comments and all of that.
But the company actually has time to, go through the process.
It all depends on the rules.
Yeah.
It all depends on the rules. Okay, let's say it's a role that has to do with information management or maybe a corporate communication, right? You see, those things matter. They pay attention to maybe these rising officers. They pay attention to those kind of things. So it matters. So for me personally, when I look at your CV, I check your social media, maybe LinkedIn is there. I'll go there, I'll check. I will look at your job experiences, all that you've done. I'm comparing it with what you have on your CV. I'm not giving us some HR secret here.
Yeah.
I'm also saying some of the stuff you posted how you've been able to show your work, your portfolio, and all of that. I think for me, it gives me some kind of reassurance. Okay, this guy has been working. He didn't just use AI to
Generate all
a
of this,
CV.
yeah. Mhm.
Because these things happen.
Yes.
There's even a very funny incident of a guy that was interviewing. He had used AI to, he was applying for a support specialist. No, not that he forgot. Everything was there.
Okay.
But one of the things I was doing is that I was asking some question on some specific skills
On his CV.
on his CV.
And he couldn't explain.
And then I asked him, do you have experience with this? He said no. I said, but it's right there on your CV. So as I probed him for that, he just said he did it, somebody did it or whatever. So even though I advised him anyway, I said, next time, even if you're giving someone to do your
like
CV, make sure you can defend
what is written
every single point in that CV. A lot of people make that kind of mistake. So that's what I do. So if I can do that, there are people that can go as far as I check your name, I cross-check in all the social media, and then see what you put out there. Because if I'm looking at integrity, if I'm looking at maybe there's some company that pays attention to integrity, who you are. So I want to be sure you'll be a good ambassador, right, to our company. So I will check to be sure that you're the right candidate, not just technical wise, but in terms of our cultural alignment and the rest.
Okay.
But social media doesn't really say it all, because I can have what I have now on my CV, but I don't really put it out there on social media. I don't update it on social media. So like my Facebook or LinkedIn might not say exactly who I am on my CV. Do you understand? So why would they want to judge me with that? It's what I have on social media.
When it comes to getting a job, it's to the extent at which you can convince the HR that you're the right candidate. So when you put those information out there, it matters.
Yeah.
Right. So if they're going to make maybe a decision based on all the information they have about you, maybe that might disqualify you if they don't have enough information about you. So just imagine maybe a guy that has been coding, a developer, right? He built website. He has been talking about it, his method, his thinking process, how he goes about coding and everything, and he's putting that information out there. You can even see maybe the website, the front end, the UI, the Figma designs, and all of that. When I see those things, I'm intrigued. Somebody like me, this guy knows what he's doing. He can deliver. So you need to find ways to showcase yourself. These days, one of the sorry to digress a little bit. One of the things I noticed is that there are a lot of talented people that are invisible. They think that because I'm talented, I know what I'm doing, then my work should speak for me. But if you're not putting your work out there, how will they speak for you? Yeah. So you need to find a way to project yourself, and it's very important.
Now, building up to that, I want to ask you a question. All right, you're still talking about information, protecting your information online. What about in a situation whereby I open my mailbox, my Gmail now, and then I'm seeing mails from people I don't even know, people I don't even have any relationship with, and then how do I? Because sometimes it gets so much, and you need to take out time to delete those emails you don't even have anything to do with. Now, how do they get my information? Does it mean they go scan for my information somewhere? Now, the information they are sending me, if they are related to what I do or maybe concerning me, I'll welcome them. Okay. So how do I, protect myself in a way that they don't get to send those kind of mails?
Okay. It's very simple. The way I would say it is this. When it comes to your information, I don't know if you've ever wanted to submit an information online. Yeah. You get to read on the data protection, privacy management, and the rest. Sometimes they will tell you what they want to do with your data.
Would agree.
You agree. And part of the clause there, is a long page.
Terms of use.
Long page. You don't get to read it.
Because it's long.
It's long. So they will probably tell you that they use this for marketing purposes.
Yes.
Okay.
And that company might be their sister company.
Yeah.
Okay. And they sell your data to them.
Yeah.
Or when they analyze you as a customer, one thing about AI is that the powerful algorithm, I can make a lot of deduce a lot of things about you as a customer, and I see that okay, you be a right fit to this company, then I set the data there, or I put the data there, and those guys begin to send you those kind of messages. So I think you start by reviewing those privacy
policies
settings
and all of that,
and then you will know whether you want to put in
my information.
Exactly. Then there's another important one, the cookies management, cookie. Now, most people will accept all. I don't accept all. I will go to the setting, I'll select the essential. So only that essential, maybe my name. But when you accept all, you are giving a lot of concepts to many things. I don't know what and what. And when it comes to cookie, it's like a file stored on your system, and then it tracks your activities, everything that you do, and then it can make some decisions about you. So I don't accept all. So you need to, for example now, if it's not a website, I know that I'll probably not interact for long. I will not. I will decline. I'll just get the piece of information that I need and I close. I don't need you to save a file on my device.
We're harassing me with different information.
And then begin to get some things about me. And then that's why sometimes when you notice that maybe you visited a particular website and you've accepted those cookies and the rest, then you go to another website. It seems that same ad is following you.
I was going to ask you a question before you answer this, sir.
Okay.
So we have, whether it's a myth or it's a truth, I don't know, you will tell us. I'm discussing with my friend. I like Camaro. I like Chevrolet. I use this Range Rover. And then I go on Facebook or go on whatever. So is it that they are listening to us?
The truth is that there are a lot of app listeners these days that have been added on even our devices. And that's the truth. It sounds funny, but you know, when you're dealing with all these those into law enforcement and the rest that need information, you'll be amazed on how far they can go. I think I read one certain time how there's this partnership between ChatGPT and United States government, and a lot of people were trying to move away from ChatGPT to Claudia and the rest, right? Because now they are saying that my data is no longer secure.
Safe,
So there's a back end. They can look,
Big Brother is watching.
They are watching. Exactly.
So you're saying Big Brother actually watching, or well, just a myth, or we think so?
Do you know that? I don't think it's a myth. I think this thing happens. For example, even your smart TVs. And I was reading something about smart TV. Most of these advanced to latest technology, they have listeners that they can get information. Some of them even have hidden cameras. They can take a picture. If you're a person of interest,
I was just going to say Finch, the movie,
Yes, a person of interest, so to speak. They made engineering in such a way they can hack into some of these. Okay, what do you call smart devices? When you look at smart devices, that means there's some sort of connectivity to the internet, right? It means that they can connect to it. They have the serial number. They have maybe the IUC, whatever number there is. So that means they can talk to it. And it has a camera that you didn't know. From somewhere they can trigger the camera. They can take a snapshot of where you are and probably get your location. So the truth is that a lot of new devices these days have listeners, right? So again, I say it's always important that you read the manual, the specification, understand it very well, and then that way you know how best to protect yourself. Like, for example, there's some kind of apps, if you've observed, anytime you want to use it, they are forcing you to turn on your location. What are they doing with your location? So those things matter, but people sometimes ignore.
Am I better off just getting a Nokia 3310?
No, you're not better off. No, there are a lot of advantages of technology than the disadvantage. The thing is that when you know the danger, and that's why we're having this podcast, then you know how best to protect yourself.
Okay, so you're saying it's not always advisable to activate location?
It's not always advisable. To what purpose? Why are you
turning on your
location?
Why are you forcing me to on my location?
What is the app for to begin with? Right? An app
to track me.
For example, most banking are the beginning to do that. I think is it Wema or OP? I can't remember. But one of them, for example, you want to make a transfer, they want your location. It's my money. What do you need my location for?
Actually, can
sometime it's for a reason.
Yeah.
They may want to know,
If you're the one.
if you're the person.
Mhm.
Maybe your setting so far has
Has
been
changed.
within Ikeja,
Yeah.
and for some reason you move and then your location is saying Bonu. Now anything might have happened, right?
Yeah.
So in that kind of situation, if there's some sort of AI power system embedded to the app, it can instantly lower your transaction limits. Those things can be configured that way.
Exactly.
In
Or
that
even
way, you're
log you out.
or even log you out. That way, you're protected, right? But not every time it's prompting you to turn your location. For some time, I don't need it. I know, and I'm able to make the transaction.
Transfer. Yeah.
So you just have to know to what purpose and all of that before you give such consent.
Another question, sir. I think maybe probably my last. So I have, you know how people give birth to their children nowadays, and they create an Instagram account for the child,
Okay.
right? I think I have two questions here. You would tell me, is that a good move? That's question one. And then the final question, so I probably open a platform, I don't know, Google Drive. I take pictures, videos of myself, some of them private, and I back them up. There's this cloud service. I back them up. They're not public. I don't know. I'm not a cybersecurity person. My question to you, first one is there any danger to opening an account for my very innocent child and track as they are growing, their 1 year birthday and put all that? Is there a danger to that for me, one? And do I also have is there anything wrong with me putting my social media, in, say, an archive, Google Drive and the likes, even though I didn't publish them? Can somebody still, talking about digital footprint, can they still get to me with that? Is there a possibility of that?
Okay, to begin with the first question, yes, there is danger to
Okay.
that. You must have heard of deepfake, cloning, and the rest. Now, imagine, you want to track the development of the child. Maybe that might be the reason why they do such things. But the truth is
I want
that,
to show my friends that my baby is doing well.
The truth is that you're actually exposing the child. And that is the truth. Because
I thought my baby is a celebrity.
Now, okay. Let me give you a very good scenario. You will see why this is actually a big one, a big issue. And maybe someone that has a bad motive, right, and want to get to the child. Now, I know when you were born, you've uploaded the picture. I knew when you were sent to school, baptized. So I have all your details. So I am coming to you, and maybe the child, you maybe want to kidnap the child. Probably, if you put that kind of information rather, you would also know the name of the child.
Of course.
Sometimes some parents make some kind of mistake. They write the child's name, the back of
the shirt, or maybe
shirt,
in the
and
school.
anybody, a stranger will just call you, hey, Kelly, and the rest. And the children are not trained that way, and they can. If the children just follow people that have enough information about them.
Yeah.
And so when they are able to convince them, I know your mom name is this and this, you live here, this and this, then that child becomes a victim of attack. Yeah. And this is how sometimes some of these kidnapping cases you hear, or little kids, this is how it happens.
Yeah.
Right? They have enough information, some of this information from online. And now I'm not trying to say what they are using the purpose for the kidnapping. That's not, but I'm just trying to say things that can cause that is the information you put out there. So personally, and not just personally, I think universally, a lot of people are discouraging that act. Oversharing of information. It's not everything. The truth is that it's not everything. See, you want danger about.
But I want my page to be busy. I want them to know that,
you want engagement.
my life is happening.
That's the thing about the danger of internet, where these days people can't differentiate between their personal life and then online life. Now there's this interwoven where everything has been mixed. There's so much people know about you.
Yeah.
You're going on the road, somebody calls you by your name, you've not met the person because of the information you put online and the rest. Sometime, about I think I was reading about I think the person was a scammer that was arrested because the person put photo online, but captured the landmark behind the photo was a very popular landmark. Through that means they were able to know his location and they tracked the person. It has happened. again and again. So when you look at all of this, you need to know how to manage your information.
Be careful.
You need to have your personal life preserved. Personally,
And your
like
life
me
as well.
personally, I think for a very long time, maybe WhatsApp, I'm trying to even be careful. But apart from WhatsApp, other platform, I don't post things. Maybe family, or you got a new house, you post it there. You bought a new car, you post it there.
How about, I mean, I go to nice restaurants, I'm eating food. I take the picture of the
Why are
food.
you trying to impress?
Just
Okay, now, is it more about people or the internet now? Is it more about what people can do with your information or the server itself?
The internet is a tool.
Because people are
It's a system.
yes.
It's about what people can do with those information. So that's what you should be worried about, not the internet. Internet is just an enabler,
Okay.
right? That you get information, you communicate, you talk to somebody, you have access to information. But there are always bad actors out there
Yeah,
that
definitely.
want to take advantage of any opportunity that they have.
Okay.
I get that.
Now, still talking about cybersecurity, with this one that is actually a common one in putting your pictures on some AI, AI to regenerate,
Oh,
kind of. So, is that a danger?
you should be worried of deepfake and the rest, cloning and the rest, because they can. When you talk about deepfake, cloning and the rest, it's actually based on what they have, right? So if you put your picture, they can actually generate something with that. Somebody talking like you, somebody have your facial look. If the person did something terrible, they'll come after you.
Yeah.
So you should be worried. So
Interesting.
personally, all those putting picture regenerating, I'm always very careful. And one funny thing, if you observe now, see the way those guys works, they are very smart. They look at key points. You know, people are in a hurry to have good pictures and the rest, and they offer them too something that can even do it better than the popular, reliable ones that you have, like maybe your ChatGPT. Even ChatGPT is not that secure. But let's say ChatGPT, Claude, Grok and the rest, Gemini and the rest, they come up with a new AI tool that can give you a better picture of yourself. A lot of people say, oh, that's the one, all those content creators. Content creators are the one that can do and undo. Every information, they're trying to create content. And you don't know the level of information those guys are harvesting. You see, it just, you know, one thing about cyber risk is that it doesn't just happen one day. It can take a while, weeks, months, and one day it will happen. That's how it works. Like banks, all these issues, you know, if you observe them, it's just that they don't publish it.
yeah,
Nigeria banks, there's hardly any bank that every year
has not been hacked.
they have not been hacked. These things are very common, but they don't tell you. I worked in a bank, and I will not just call name.
Yes.
I don't leave it there, but we're talking about big money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a lot. There's actually a lot,
There's a lot,
to
yes.
say about AI. I actually have more questions to ask, but because of our time, we'll have to round up
We need
this
to have him
particular...
back some other time again.
Yes, I have more questions on AI. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry
Thank you very
Chigozie, for
much.
joining us today. It's quite an interesting topic. We have a lot to learn about AI and cybersecurity myths, so to say. And before I call it a quit, I don't know if we have something, a final word from our co-host.
It's been a beautiful one. Thank you very much, Mr. Henry, for honoring us with your
Thank
presence. And I've learned a lot today. So I used to put my daughter's pictures all over social media. So now I'm being careful. Okay,
Exactly.
I documented her growing process. But I'm going to be more careful with that now. So I've learned something new today. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And from Famous.
Fire is powerful. It can burn you, but it can also cook your food. I think cyber security is just like fire, or the internet is like fire. It can hurt us or it can help us, depending on how we use it. So my takeaway is that I'm going to now learn how to use the fire of the internet to cook my food rather than burn myself. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, viewers. And don't forget that Way Podcast is produced by G-Cov Media in partnership with Nolly Cinema Studios. Thank you for joining us. I'm Covenant Amara, by the way.
Conversations that matter, Voices that travel the world, from every city, every story, different stories, one spotlight. Real people, real inside, bringing minds together today. We rise, we speak, we grow. More than a moment, more than a show. Across the world, the voices flow. Welcome to a podcast. Conversations without borders.